As a professional builder, you can pour so much of yourself into a project that at the end it's very hard to let it go. And that's exactly what happened with this next story, where a tiny house builder fell so in love with her spec build that she just had to buy it. Hey Gina, lovely to see you.
Kia ora, Bryce, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And I am super excited to see your newest creation.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, you're a tiny house designer, you have a tiny house building company here, and this is your newest creation. Can you tell me about this one?
Yeah, so this tiny house is called the Bitzer because it's made up of bits and pieces that we had around the workshop. We had a trailer that we missed a specification for a client, so we had to reorder their trailer, and we had a perfectly good 6-metre trailer, so we thought we would do something with it. And likewise with the windows and the kitchen, we already had those from a client changing their mind on the colour halfway through the build process. So those were the basic main building components that formed the brief or the parameters for the design, and we built everything around those.
And this here was not a client build, this is your own personal tiny house, isn't it?
Yes, well it started off as a spec build. We were going to on-sell it at the completion of the build, but at some point during the design and build process I personally sort of fell in love with it. I think it's a really great design for the size that it is, being only 6 metres long, and I could really see myself living in it. So yeah, I did take that one off the market before it even got there, unfortunately, for people that were looking, but yeah, I'm totally in love with it.
And so what was it that actually inspired you to start building tiny homes? What was it that made you fall in love with them?
Well, I couldn't say exactly what it was. I don't remember. It was probably something I saw on Pinterest to start with. But the main inspiration to actually start building one myself was actually your channel, Bryce. Particularly your the build series of your own build, and you broke the steps down, and it kind of gave me the confidence that, oh, okay, when you break it down into those individual build elements, it might not be that hard. And it might have given me a false sense of of confidence, because really it is quite complex, and I quickly found that out with my first build, the Millennial, and I got my brother-in-law Jason involved and could not have done it without him. He's a qualified builder.
Well, it really is awesome to know that we're partly responsible for your beautiful creations, because you're out there now doing such wonderful work.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it without you.
So tell me about the design that you've created here.
Well, it's 6 metres long by 2.4 metres wide, and it's roughly 4.2 metres tall. And we already had the window colours, and in fact the cladding is a stock cladding that we have as well, so it is a vinyl cladding which is super lightweight, which is incredibly important. Here in New Zealand we only have a 3.5 tonne weight limit for a light simple trailer. And so this is the first door that we've done on the end of the tiny house. Most of our builds have like a big French door on the side of the tiny house, and that's something that Kiwis love, is the indoor-outdoor flow, having a big open doorway. But this I think is the perfect balance, because it does create a lot more space on the inside by having the door at the end.
Now, one of the unique things about this design as well is that it was actually built on a detachable trailer, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that's standard for our builds now. If you want the tiny house to be permanently attached, it's easy to make those connections, but the standard connection is a container lock system. So we have jacks down the side of the house and container locks in all 4 corners. So if you want to detach the house, you can do so by jacking the house up and literally just pulling the trailer out, and it becomes quite handy as well when you are maneuvering the house, when you get it onto a site. When you're traveling on the road, it's definitely designed to be towed in one direction, not the other, for weight distribution. But once you get it on site and you're just traveling at slow speeds, you can actually flip the drawbar to the other end and get it right into that little tight spot.
And it's all set up for rainwater collection, I see?
Yep, so we have got a spouting at the top and the downpipe here, so it would be fairly simple once you're on site to put like a large water tank just around the side and just connect the downpipe into that.
And is this one grid connected?
It is at the moment, but it has been pre-designed so that if and when it needs to be off-grid, it can be. So it has been pre-wired for solar, but currently is plugged in on mains power.
Well, the house definitely looks very sleek from the outside, and I cannot wait to see what you've done inside. Should we take a look?
Yeah, let's check it out.
After you. This is absolutely beautiful.
Thanks.
Obviously, walking inside, one of the very first things that I notice is the net that you've put here. What a great idea.
Yeah, so that's part of my library upstairs.
Very cool. And of course, one of the great things about using a net like this is that it allows you to have so much more usable space in the loft area, but it doesn't feel enclosed when you're downstairs either, does it?
No, it still lets the light down through from the windows upstairs, and the white colour of the net just sort of elevates the ceiling.
And so immediately upon entering the house, we are now in your lounge. Can you tell me about this?
Yeah, so this is actually a reasonable sized lounge. It probably takes up about 1/3 of the floor area of the tiny house. And we've got a pretty decent sized couch. I think it's almost 2.5 meters long. And it's directly opposite the TV as well. And beneath the TV, we've got these are actually IKEA storage cubbies for shoes. And the first two, I mean, they are useful to use for shoes, but they actually make great slimline storage in general for other things, so like blankets, and like it even fits laptops, that kind of thing. So it keeps the space in the middle here more open, but still utilizing this little bit of wall space.
That's a great idea. And what's this contraption here that you've got on the couch?
So that's a bracket for the Lagoon table leg. It's a really popular table in RVs and boats. The base of it clips onto the bracket, and then the table sits on top of that, and it swivels in all directions, so it's a really versatile piece of furniture. You can drop it down to coffee table height or bring it up to like a dining table height. So it makes a perfect little spot to work at or eat at, and it's easy to move around too if you want to get out. Often boats and tiny homes have fixed tables, and you have to do like a bum shuffle to get out from behind the table. But with this one, you can just push it out of the way and get up and walk off.
Very clever. And then over here we have your kitchen.
Yeah, so this is the kitchen that we already had. So it originally was designed to be laid out in a different way, but for this particular tiny house, it's suited to be set up differently. So we placed them together, and I think it's still quite functional, even though it was designed for a different tiny house originally. And the overhead cupboards as well create a lot of extra space, but still having the window beneath that doesn't make it feel too enclosed, which overhead cupboards can do. But the use of the overhead cupboards is really good. That's where I've got all the crockery and plates and things like that. And a lot of the storage for the kitchen can be on the opposite side here in the stairs. And we do have full-sized appliances, although it is just the 2-burner. Otherwise we would have lost a bit too much bench space had we gone with a 4-burner, but for me, like, I don't often cook elaborate meals with more than 2 pots, so it'd be fine.
And then as you mentioned, you've got a lot of additional storage which has been built into the stairs here too.
Yeah, so we've got a few different things. Down the bottom here we've actually got a gas heater which comes out here. This one lifts up for storage and underneath. The table is being stored on this one for the couch.
Great.
And then obviously washing machine, or this could be a washer dryer, but I was happy with just a washing machine. And so this one is a drawer, pulls right out. And then of course the pantry, like I mentioned, part of the kitchen is sitting on this side, so this is actually like a full height pantry. And I've got food up the top here, and then pots and pans down the bottom.
And then you've built in a really nice seating area here as well?
Yeah, so one of the problems or challenges of working with an existing set of windows is that you have to design everything around what you've got. And I really wanted a little seating nook with a beautiful picture window in it, and so that's how this area came about. The only negative side of that is that it then dictated the height that I could put the walking platform for the loft above.
Right.
So in our normal designs this would have been a bit lower to give more headroom upstairs, but I really wanted this picture window so I could sit here and eat or work and have a view to look out of.
And then the pocket door here, I'm guessing, leads us to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Should we take a look in there?
Go for it.
Again, this is lovely. It's quite a compact bathroom, isn't it? But
it is.
Everything just seems to be really well spaced, and it doesn't feel compressible, does it?
No, I'm glad you feel that way. It does have 2 windows, which definitely helps to create the light open feeling, as well as the light colours do that, and the reflective surfaces too. But a fairly typical layout for a tiny house bathroom. There's nothing particularly new about this layout, although I do think that the same IKEA shoe cubbies that we've used out by the front door, I think they make a really excellent addition to the bathroom for storing the wood chips. The reason is that composting toilets are fantastic, but wood chips tend to get everywhere, all over the floor.
That's true.
Despite your best efforts. So with that little IKEA cubby, it pulls out and it comes over the top of the toilet. So when you're scooping it, anything that's falling off your scoop is falling into the toilet. So I think that's one little unique thing for this bathroom.
It is a clever idea. And then I see you're using the Bambaloo composting toilet there. That's always a nice addition.
Yes, beautifully made New Zealand product. Can't rate it highly enough. It's a very beautiful toilet.
Good size shower in here too?
Yes, yep, so it is a 750 by 900 millimeter shower, so compact but still movable. The good thing about this shower is that it, rather than having a heavy glass shower screen or a shower curtain, which, let's be honest, they're never really that effective, it does have a retractable shower screen, so it has all the benefits of glass but without the weight, and also without blocking the space, because a glass door, it's always there, whereas the retractable one rolls away, and then you can stand in the middle of the bathroom and you can stretch out both ways and you get the benefit of that space while you're not using the shower. So especially when you're getting dressed, that's really handy.
That is a great idea. I see you've got a shower dome on it as well to help control the moisture?
Yes, yeah, that's something that we try to encourage all of our clients to do, because tiny houses in general, they're small, and it doesn't take much of just breathing and cooking to create moisture in the space. So wherever you can eliminate it at the source, it's best to do so, and shower domes do exactly that.
And should we have a look upstairs?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. I am definitely excited to see what you've done with this net here. This hammock really is such a cool feature, and it's allowed everything to stay open to downstairs, but you've created a super cool room here, haven't you?
Yeah, I'd like to think of this as my little library, or like a reading area.
Yeah.
Place to chill out, although I've had a few people laying on this who do think it would be comfortable enough to sleep a night on, but you'd have to be a certain kind of confidence to do that. I think a lot of people get really nervous around nets, like it's quite polarizing, people love or hate them.
Right, so maybe a spare bed as well for some of your more adventurous friends.
Yeah.
These quotes on the wall are really cool as well. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so I did a talk at the Auckland Home Show last year, and I spoke about the reasons why people want to go tiny, because I've always been fascinated by the absolute variety in people's reasonings and the types of people as well. So we put a post out on Facebook asking our followers, and Instagram as well, why they want to become part of the tiny house movement if they're not already. And this was just a compilation of all the different responses, and I love seeing all the different perspectives. I find it quite inspiring with my work.
That is such a great idea. And tell me about the design of the space up here.
Yeah, so before I decided to buy this tiny house, and when it was just a spec build, I'd not actually drawn the net into the plans, though I had it in my mind as an idea that would be great for the right client, but I didn't put it into the house right until the very end of the process when I knew that it was mine, because like I said, they can be quite polarizing for people. Some people are super confident with heights and other people do not like to be able to see what's below them.
Very true.
Yeah, so this was an after addition. You know, I've turned it into a library, as you can see, but it could still have been for storage.
Very true. And then over here we have your sleeping loft. Can we take a look in there?
Yeah, just mind your head.
Alrighty. This is really nice. It's really great how you've got the little landing platform here as well. Good sized bed, and then all of that storage along the back wall there.
Yeah, so it's a queen size mattress we have in here, but actually a king size would fit. There's enough space on either side. And underneath the mattress, we've actually cut bed slats into the flooring to air the mattress. So there is a cavity beneath the mattress just to stop any mold from being produced.
Great.
There isn't any bedside tables, but we've got this little pouch down the side here for putting in magazines and like a drink bottle and those little things that you need, and your phone while it's charging. And yeah, then we've got the cabinets at the back. Like you said, they are quite generous for a tiny house, especially such a small tiny house. So they're quite deep and they fit quite a lot of stuff in them. And we've got the baskets underneath as well for even more storage. And these are actually designed to be removed for travel. They're just on French cleats, but when we came to the completion of the build, we were well under weight, so we actually have screwed them to the wall so they are permanently fixed. But yeah, they could come out if they need to.
And you've got the dual windows either side of the loft as well, so really good airflow in here.
Yes, that's something I'm really pedantic on with clients. Like if they only want one window, I'd try as my very best to insist that they have 2 windows in every loft for ventilation, because lofts get really hot, and if you don't have the 2 windows, then I would definitely recommend some kind of a ventilation system.
And what was the cost to build this tiny house?
Yeah, so the price that I paid was 115,000 New Zealand dollars, and that cost is reflective of the materials being not used but older materials. To replicate this build with like current pricing, it probably would cost more like 130,000 New Zealand dollars.
Some great savings there for sure.
Yeah.
So this is now your tiny house, but you're not living in it yet, are you?
No, not yet. At the moment, it's parked up most of the time at our workshop, and I'm utilising it as a space, like an office for myself. and of course showing any clients that are coming through the workshop. But the plan is to have it on its own property and for me to live in it with my partner Jay, and we'll build a shed and live in that for a while, and we may then consider doing a small build on the property as well. This tiny house means to me reliability in terms of housing. So I've lived in lots of different places and I do love moving. So it means that no matter where I want to live in the country, I know that I have a house that I can take with me. And if at any point it no longer becomes ideal for my living situation, I know that it'll operate fantastically as an Airbnb or a rental, or I could sell it. Like, it's quite easy to do that without the commitment of the land.
Well, Gina, you've created such a beautiful home for yourself here. It's great to see so many ideas put to work in such a small home. Thank you so much for sharing it with me.
Thank you, Bryce.
This may be a tiny house, but there's nothing small about the ideas that have made this place work. There are so many really good practical functional elements, but also just fun quirky features like this loft net. And that really makes this a super cool house.